we have Gayatri with us, and she will be taking interview. She's a very, very senior sister. When Moini Didi started living in New York, Gayatri was with her from the beginning. So from Queens Center. So right now she is in Queens. And welcome, Gayatri.
Hello, Bhumi. Thank you. And it is indeed a pleasure for me to be interviewing Sister Mohini tonight. And I hope my questions are going to be very unusual questions, but not so unusual that I'm putting Sister Mohini in a corner to answer them. Because as you said, that I've been with Sister Mohini from the beginning of service in New York, but I've been with Sister Mohini even before then. I was with her in Guyana. So I know Sister Mohini, I think, in a very special way, even though I'm saying that myself. So I want to ask Sister Mohini some questions or have a conversation with her that would perhaps reveal aspects about herself in relation to this whole domain of the abject, both in terms of the self and the form, which means the stage of being abject and the form of being angelic. So, Sister Mohini, my first question to you is about that first drishti that you had from Baba. You know, it is said that the soul, when the soul experiences that first abject drishti, that first drishti from Baba, something magical happens in the soul. And it is as if that love, that abject love that the soul experiences opens a whole new life in that soul and a whole new world in that soul. So tell us about that first drishti that you had from Baba, from Brahma Baba, of course, but Bap Dada, that really opened your soul to a whole new life and to a whole new world. It is just like you fell in love. How did that feel?
I met Baba in Madhuban, and those days when we will reach, we will take shower. And in History Hall, on the floor, there will be two cotton cushions, and Baba and Mama will come and sit, and then they will give drishti. So when Baba gave me drishti, I just felt what is purity. I am pure soul, complete purity, as if there's nothing from the past, no sinful, nothing, just complete purity. And it's like I belong to Baba and I'm completely pure and just free from body, bodiless stage. At that time, I didn't know even what is bodiless stage, but I felt there is no body. I'm soul, I am pure, and I belong to Baba. So that was very, very intense. And after that, of course, the journey begins towards becoming completely pure.
Did this purity have any kind of physical reactions in you, like your heart started palpitating, or you were saying, "Oh my gosh, what is happening to me?" Or was it a calm and cooling kind of purity? Was it an avyakt purity that you experienced, or was it a purity that you experienced through your senses?
I, when I said bodiless, so there was no extra palpitation or anything, but it was just soul and body, separate. And I am soul, I am pure. So that's really the bodiless, is that, that drishti just, I feel it is more like that will be my final stage. I can think of when you're saying it, that's what I think my last final stage will be, that I am a pure soul and I am kind of merged in Baba. I am pure soul, I am Marjan Baba. And with that purity, naturally there was calmness and quiet and, free from thoughts completely.
That's very interesting, Sister Mohini. So you really experienced your final stage in that drishti of love that you experienced from Baba. So it was as if it was your first and your final in that one moment.
With each one of you, if you think and try to regain your memory, maybe when you all took drishti from Baba, there might have been that experience. But as you are asking me, I am regaining that memory and Simriti is coming. And I could feel it actually even at this moment that the experience which I had in my first meeting with Baba.
Great. So, Sister Mohini, I want to expand a little bit on this whole concept of Avyak love. In Baba 69 Murli, he said that we have to learn the lesson of Avyak love. And then he asks us the question, what is Avyak love? And Baba then went on to say that Avyak love gives the power to the pilgrimage of remembrance, and Avyak love helps us in creating the Avyak stage. Could you describe that Avyak love that you felt and expand on that purity that you felt that helped you on your pilgrimage of remembrance in particular?
Age or experience one can have is when there is this avyakt love you experience from Baba, then you go beyond everything. Nothing really matters, nothing bothers. Like it takes you beyond. And when you go beyond that, you know, it's just that closeness to Baba which is experienced by going beyond as soon as there is this love. And as if you feel so full, so complete, as if you don't need anything. It's just like make you free, completely free from all the desires. So I think that freedom which gets experienced and takes us beyond also.
Sister Moni, how will this Avyak love be expressed in relationships with others? Okay, if I'm experiencing the Avyak love on the pilgrimage of remembrance, then I go beyond. But when it comes for that experience in between, between Brahmins, for instance, how will this experience, how will I know I'm experiencing Abhyakt love as opposed to a natural human love?
I think that, I can talk of Baba, but you all have most of you have met Dadi Prakash Mani. Now, Dadi Prakash Mani's love, you just could feel like sunshine and unlimited and very like embracing. And so, because her love was naturally a Vyakt love. And a Vyakti love, in other words, that she always looked at us in a natural way as souls. And then her love was overflowing. And she didn't think that she has to give love or she has to, but she was embodiment of that love. And when you are in embodiment of love, you don't have to talk about spirituality. You just talk about relationship. Okay, you all have come from foreign countries. I want to extend hospitality. I want to, so when I go, what you all don't make, what we should make for you. Now, some people might say, this is all that is love was. But it's so interesting that when you are embodiment of Avyakt love, you don't have to like, okay, now I have to give you a Vyakti love. But the care which is there from the heart and love which is shown as support and as being there. And also, I remember with Dadi Prakash Mani, she always like, recently there was some discussion which I want to explore more, that people think they have to say yes to everything to the instrument. But even if I said yes, but then Dadi Prakashpani will still ask me, what do you think? What you feel? So she helped me to develop power to discern. Like I went from Guyana. So we were walking in the courtyard and I said, Dadi, it's very far. Maybe someone else can go. She said, okay, that's fine. You suggest who could go. So after a few days, then again we were walking. And then I said, Daddy, I will go back another year. And then after that, we can change. So I realized I never forget that, because she could have said, do this. No, you have to go. Say yes to it. So even if I will accept what Daddy will say. She knew that I will go if Daddy says. But then she allowed me to think for myself, so that when I'm going, oh, Daddy told me to go, that's why I'm going. But I also internally thought about it, and then we agreed, both of us. And since then, I've learned that to use it in my all relationships with the juniors, with everyone. Some don't understand, and they say, why don't you just tell us what I have to do? I said, you have to think, no? Like when it's time for Madhuban, I ask everyone, when would you want to go? But I could also plan everyone's program, say, you go here, you go. But no, when they tell me, then I say, okay, maybe this is the best thing. So somewhere saying yes is partnership. Saying yes is not like, okay, I said yes. And then I keep thinking, oh, because I said yes, maybe I shouldn't have. Or I am forcefully accepting that direction. It's a very subtle thing. So, what I'm thinking in Avyakt love, upliftment, and helping the soul, like Baba says in Morley, that within Brahmin family, what you do is cooperation. You don't donate anything, because you don't donate to Brahmins, but you cooperate. So, I think this Avyakti love is expressed in practical. You don't have to express that love, but there's so much care of minute details when we go, taken care of, do everything for that soul. Now, that's not coming from physical love, but it's an expression in a physical way, but of awake love. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I felt from that.
It does make sense because as you talk, yeah, Sister Moni, as you're talking, I'm also thinking about that special love that I would call Abyak love that existed among the daddies that created this bond of unity in such a very special way. For me personally, I have seen it with Daddy Janki, with Daddy G, with Didi. When the three of them were, and of course Daddy Gulsar, when they were together, there was this kind of unbreakable love, that steady love, the love that held the whole Yankee together. And I'm just wondering if you want to talk a little bit about that love, that abject love that existed among the equals of the daddies.
And that's a very beautiful example, and I'm reminded of seeing them so happy together, so joyful, and because it's all of them love for Baba in their hearts, and that love which is coming from each other is also Baba's love. And Baba's love definitely is a Vyakti love, isn't it? So it's not love because I love Dadi, or they said to each other, I love, but they all loved Baba. Not only that, but because their connection with Baba, link with Baba, was so consistent that some or other they felt whatever they felt, for yagi or whatever, it was very common in the sense of they all will agree to each other. There was a lot of acceptance of each other. They never, at least with three of them, I can say they never had compared that Dadi is like this or Dadi Gulzar is like that. Everyone has a special part to play. They will say, no, Didi Didi Manmohini, I remember, and then Dadi Janki, they used to appreciate Dadi Gulzar's role so much and respect her in that way. And they respected Dadi Prakashmani's specialities. So I think as you said, that kind of harmony, that kind of love amongst the instruments, was definitely sustaining yagya and keeping yagya free from obstacles. Because if one is a king or emperor, and okay, you are honest, you are all that, but if anything wrong is happening under you, you can't be called a good king, no, even if you are honest. But with their honesty, everything was honest in the sense of duty, economically, in relationship, in purity. There was that power of sustenance, as you said, which start missing when the leadership of anywhere is not just Madhuban, but any center. If that avyakti love amongst instruments, I think this topic has to be really talked more and explored, because that will sustain and give power to all the Brahmin family.
But Sister Mohini, this Avyakt love, and this is my last question on Avyakt love, because I have two other ones that I really want you to go into with you. This Avyakti Parivar that has been created, that keep attracting people. I mean, today there are like 600 people on this call, and usually there's 700, 800, who knows. But I think there's been a large amount of people coming on every single evening since March. And you have called it the Avyakti Parivar. So do you think that Baba is using you? And I know it may be too subjective a question for you, but play along with me. Do you think that Baba is using you as an instrument to demonstrate this Avyakt love as the attraction that will draw people ultimately to get closer to Baba, and he's using you as an instrument to show us this?
I think that what you're saying is really needs more thinking, and that how a few years ago, since few years, there was a small group of 8 mothers. So they used to read morely amongst themselves, and then Thursday morning, they will call me after Bhog to hear the message. Then they will ask me questions, and I said, when that was like lot more for me, in that time consuming. So I said, I have one the other sister, Bhumi, she will help you to answer your questions. And little by little, it grew. And then they became like all couples. They were 18 couples. So then they wanted the name. And I said, somewhere Avyakti group or Parivar came. But what you're saying actually is really something to think about, that Dadi Janki, in January we had started chatting little bit after 7:30, and when Dadi Janki became awake, I said, offer Bhog for 13 days, and then something came up. No, let's continue, and all the things were happening that we made offer of Zoom to every country, every main center in the region. And then suddenly lockdown happened. So it became very, very useful. And yeah, it's like a Vyakti word itself. And then also, like internally, even now I say, even I come to know numbers or who comes, doesn't come. I said, even if 5, 10 isolated souls, even 10 old mothers, even 10 sick people can take benefit, I will continue. Doesn't matter how many. So I think it's coming from my, lot of love for especially those who can be sustained, who can take benefit. When I saw some Caribbean islands so far, just one sister sitting, one student there. So it's just like, internally, until now, my feelings are I want to go beyond, in the sense of who comes, doesn't come, how many come. Even every day on live YouTube, there are few hundreds, and weekends are little less because there are retreats and programs, all that. So, as I'm saying, even I come to know external factors, but internally, when I see many, many souls, old ones, and most of them are, some are connected, like main instruments come, but some are not even connected with centers. They don't know centers are very far. So it must be Baba's plan, and only I can say in my heart what my feelings are. And as you know, that few months I couldn't do much physically or travel. So what I felt like Baba is making me feel, it's okay, you served, and kind of fulfillment inside, but also helping Lord to be on journey of remembrance more and more.
Is going to be in any way how the Avyakt, that final stage of the Avyakt, Baba's revelation with our Avyakt stage will be taking place at the end. If Baba says, and he says it in the 69 Murlis, that at the end, people will be seeing Baba. Baba will be revealed, and people won't be seeing us. They will just be seeing God through us. And so I was wondering whether at the end, the Abhyakt stage will be something that will manifest in this way. Now, I know I'm asking you to talk about something that maybe requires a little bit of visioning, but what will that final stage be like to reveal Baba, Abhyakt Bapdada?
When people saw Brahma Baba, and while seeing him, they were seeing Sri Krishna. And so something like that, in the sense of, is our awake stage and Baba's light, Like many, many times I feel and I try and I do it, that in our Baba's room, we have Baba's light through Brahma Baba. The way Baba is sitting, Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba. This is what I feel, that when we become aware, then Shiv Baba, same way they use is. So because generally what people would want to see, light. And when they see light, they feel they have seen God. Or what people want to experience sometimes is contact or response from angels. So that means our body will be body of light. So light and angelic stage are the two forms which people will see through us. They won't see the body, they won't see who this one is, but I have seen light. And naturally, then it is through us, no? How will they see? Because Baba says if they only see point of light, they won't recognize. But when they can see through us, then we'll say, oh, I saw the light of the God, or I saw angel. So these two forms, I think, but also for those who are devotees, they might see the form of goddesses, gods, like Baba talks of worship worthy form. So worship worthy form not from corporate, but it will be here. Because I had been experiencing since yesterday that eternal is bringing Adi. Like eternal is creating in me original. And original is which becomes worship worthy. I am seeing emerging, because when I practice since yesterday, I'm very much kind of, when I realize this, I'm paying more attention to experience eternal into original, then original as worship worthy. So I think when our stage is completely free internally with any thoughts, whether it's expectation, desires, or anything, then Baba will be able to really be revealed through us, can use us properly. That means just go beyond everything. I call that now unlimited stage. That means you are so unlimited. Everything is Baba's. We all belong to Baba. Baba's. All children are Baba's. Not I and mine, even subtle I and mine. Because this is the time really to go unlimited for everything. And then you see how Baba's magic happens. So it will be happening. We are getting ready.
Thank you, Sister Mohini. I hope we get ready in the right way. And I hope we will always, be making those efforts that you have just described. Because I will share one experience with you before, I conclude tonight. And that is, Daddy Janki once said to me that I'm a soul who if I understand something, there's no stopping me. I will go all the way. But just understanding something and doing it will bring me success. But she says that if you want victory, then you'll be able to understand her feelings. You will be able to understand Baba's, that bhavana, that love, that avyak love. And so why I ask you these questions is because many of us may be looking at success in service, but I think ultimate victory will come from attaining that abject stage through that abject love, which is way beyond just that understanding of Gyan as Gyan, but really bringing Gyan to that level of making it a form of abject love that would lead us to victory. And so thank you for the answers, but I was also very fascinated by your experiences with Mama using the body, and how maybe by just her using your body, a lot of her characteristics got inculcated by you, that maybe today you're playing a role with the ancestors and you're drawing on their abject stages and their Farishta Swarup to serve the world. So thank you, Sister Mohini.
No, I agree. These days, I lot feel that each ancestor soul is giving one blessing. And, we just have to be ready, and they will also use us as instruments. Anyway, you're making me think more about what you're saying, Avyakti love, and whatever it is. But I have this hobby or whatever that I practice, understand, but then practice. I had been telling everyone, don't keep listening, listening, listening. I don't like to listen anything these days, because whatever is there, I want to practice it. And then new insights and new experiences come. And that's for then I share. Thank you, Gayatri Ben. Thank you for kind of, as I said, helping me to regain the memory, Simriti, of many, many things. Thank you. Om Shanti. Good night.
Om Shanti.